Hi guys, this is Dan from Magic Pachinko Restorations with a short video. This is not on well, it's not on a pachinko machine per se. It's on how to adjust something on a pachinko machine, and that is the tension on your launch spring. I've had a couple of people ask me about that, and what follows is going to be a short video on how to do that, what I consider to be the right way. Hope you like it. So I've had a number of questions on the spring tension, launch mechanism, that sort of thing. So I'm rebuilding a Model A, although this really doesn't matter. This launch system is pretty much the same on the A's and the B's. I think they bought the parts all from the same manufacturer over a number of years. So doing a full restoration, the play board is off. That's actually over here, ready to be put back on, but not at this moment in time. All the guts are off. I'll put this on and then rebuild the guts. But at any rate, what I just finished doing to this frame is putting the hinges on, putting on the lock, and then the launch system, and some of the trim that goes on the front. So this is all done. One thing I do want to mention: if you take this off, this nut here, the top nut, there's two nuts, and they're stacked on top of each other, and there's a lock washer in there. So when you go to take them off, you've got to grab that bottom nut, and then put another nut driver on top and break this one off. And then when you go to put this back on, this is the only area that I will lubricate on a pachinko machine, and that's right in where the ball bearings are. And there's ball bearings on the launch handle too internally, and I put a little oil in there. So when you put this back on, you use the bigger nut to screw this mechanism down, and you want to bring it right down to the board, and then leave that nut so that it's got some play in it. And then you put the lock washer on the smaller nut, hold the bigger nut in place, and crank down on the top nut. So what that will give you, if I take this spring off, is just a nice, no friction back and forth on your launch handle. Okay. Now with the spring, there's a variety of different manufacturers that use other stuff than this. Some are much shorter than this. Others are plastic. Really doesn't matter. They all serve the same purpose. So this is the launch spring. Now, if you didn't know this, and I'm just going to pull this apart and hope that you can see it in the video, inside of that spring is a sheet of Japanese newspaper rolled up. This one is broken into 3 pieces, but what it does is it will quiet the spring down like that. That's why they put it in there. So what I do when I do the restorations is I take a pair of needle nose and I just pry one end up so I can get in there and get that newspaper out. And then I put this whole thing into a sonic cleaner with rust, Evevo rust, and get the spring nice and shiny and clean again. And then I put the paper back in and then redo that and then hook it up to this. Okay, so this hooks onto the launch arm on this little bent nail. It goes over the 2 bumpers here and onto the nail without a head that goes here. So this is what provides the spring tension on your machine. Okay, so the way that I set these is actually, let me get this. This may make things a little bit easier. Okay. All right. So it's hard to get the angle that I want. This is trying to do this all by myself. Okay. So ideally, when you launch a ball, the ball's going to come up around, and you want the ball to lose its momentum up in this area, right in the middle of the machine, so that ideally it starts to fall down through the middle of the machine, because that's where your attractions are. There's usually tulips down the middle, so on and so forth. And quite often, if you get it in here, it'll open this tulip and things like that. So ideally, you want the tension on the launch spring should bring the balls up into this area. Now, occasionally, this tulip will open, and you do need to go beyond the center and down into this area. or this tulip will be open, and you need to go less than the center portion of your machine to get at this, okay? So, with that said, the way that I adjust the tension here is I adjust it so that when you go full down and let go, it will go all the way over to the right side of the machine, hit the bumper, and should stay on the right side of the machine. That's how I adjust this tension. Now, what I don't want is I don't want it to go bang and, really go hard, but I'll play with this and get it so that when I go full tension and let go, it will go all the way across and hit that bumper, okay? Then you need to instruct either the owner or yourself that if you don't want it to go all the way across, you want it to be in the middle, you're going to pull all the way down so it loads a ball, and then you just release a little bit. Right here, you just let a little bit of pressure off and then let go. And you're not going to get that force, and you'll realize very quickly how much to let go to get the balls to drop through the middle. And you'll have to let go even more to let the balls end up on this side of the machine. Of course, this is reversed, but you know what I mean. If you adjust this too much, it's actually better than not enough. In other words, if I take almost all the pressure off, I'll never be able to get it over to the right side. So I need enough tension initially to get it to go all the way to the right side, and then learn how to adjust here to keep it on the left side and right in the center of the machine. Now, every once in a while, I'll get a machine that no matter how much I take the tension off, it still shoots way too hard, in my opinion. So the easiest thing to do with that is you just take your drill and you just go right in here. Any one of these holes, usually I use this one, I just drill another little hole, and then I simply pull this nail out, put it in the other hole, and then you've got a different range of tension that you can use on your spring if you feel it's still shooting too hard. Okay, so that's how we do tighten this down the right way, and that's how we set the spring tension on most A's and B's. They're all the same. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know.